Big brands may dominate the billboards, but micro brands, they're dominating the culture.
In 2026, niche doesn't just win, it scales. Today, we're breaking down why hyper-focused audiences are outperforming broad strategies.
If you've been trying to be everything to everyone, this episode might just change your whole approach. Let's get into the year of the micro brand. But we're going to start with the basics because micro brand doesn't mean small, it means strategic. A micro brand is a highly focused niche and solution serving a very specific audience.
Hyper-specific solves a hyper-specific problem. That's the beauty and power of micro brand.
Micro brands thrive by doing one thing exceptionally well. I mean, I could think of so many. One that comes to mind right away is Hulken. So Hulken, if people don't know what that is, it's like these bags on wheels, but they have multiple sets of wheels so it can like spin on a swivel, and they're durable and they're like trendy looking. And they started in Brooklyn because a lot of New Yorkers needed something to like take their groceries and their stuff around. And they've expanded all over. I personally have 2 Hulken bags. And when I worked at the Southern Christmas show and with some of these other events for my clients, people are showing up to these events with these Hulkens. And what I like to see is that really it's a micro brand and they're doing extremely well. They've been on the news. They've been everywhere. They're not trying to expand and sell bags for all different things. They literally, their tagline is schlepping made easy, and that's all they do. Just these bags, and you can only order these, and that's it. So it's one of those things of they found a problem, they solved it, and they're pushing their one product, and that's all they need to do to be successful. They don't need to be everything to everyone.
They don't need to be 500 different tote bags.
Exactly.
Another thing that I think of is this weekend, talking about micro brand doing one thing specifically really well, is like a sushi restaurant versus an omakase. I was at a sushi and my friend was like, we should do omakase here. I was like, no, I'd rather go to a place that does only omakase because that is like what they're really good at versus having a whole menu like Japanese, Asian fusion.
Right. It feels like it's too broad of a menu.
Like one,
not as specialized.
That's the whole point, is that they're doing something really well, and that's all they do. So
exactly. And micro brands often outperform like big brands online because algorithms love clarity. Algorithms want to put you in a bucket, whether you like it or not. So the more niche you are, the more that you can identify, it's easier for the platforms to understand who to show your content to. You know, for example, it's those micro skincare brands, it's the boutique fitness studios, it's the hyper local realtors. It's being very specialized,
very specific, and that is just what you're good at, and you have your people. And also, like you said, like you're looking for just a townhome in Fort Lauderdale versus going to like South Florida real estate agent. You're going to go to an specific in townhomes. Micro brands, they don't need 1 million followers. They need the right 1,000.
Exactly. Smaller audiences can lead to a tighter community, higher trust, higher sales. I know, like brought up Hulken before, people like me who are early adapters of the brand were proud of it. We're like, oh, you have to get one, or like, this is the best thing ever, and they have great customer service, and you should order one. And those people become advocates of your brand naturally. And we see that a lot when your audience feels like you're speaking to them and your audience feels included in the brand. But when it's too big, too vague, you don't really get the people as excited. So I think that it's really going to rise in 2026 because in the world of AI and online shopping and Amazon and all these big brands, people are trying to find something more localized, something more specialized, something unique.
Also,
exactly.
That's, I feel like, is a buzzword that I'm also going to see in 2026 is boutique.
Yes. And people want community still. People want to feel involved. There's a lot of brands doing community activations. I know Lululemon has been doing it for a while, and I feel like they're doing a lot more lately. And you can order Lululemon online. You can go to their stores and shop at the mall. Why are they doing this? It's because they're trying to have that community feel and to get people to stay and be part of their brand and not just, oh, we serve great leggings.
Yeah, I mean, that's a total great example of micro brand doesn't mean small, because Lulu is one of the biggest brands and, of course, biggest in athleisure. So that the fact that they're still honing in is
on community. Yes. And that leads us to like the next part of this conversation is that the real shift is that people aren't just following brands, but they're really joining communities. So you see a lot of companies out there doing collaborations, doing grand openings, trying to be part of these events to try to make that community feel smaller.
Yes. I mean, these micro communities drive deeper engagement for general audience. And once you have this strong engagement, that's really when, as a brand, you can really see commitment, sales rise, etc. I mean, another example I can think of is Bala Bangles or Bala for their yoga mats. And, it's very aesthetic. And then a really aesthetic yoga studio opened by me. And of course, the two collabed. So that's just a great example.
Yes. And I think it builds trust because people see the brand actually in person, or even if it's an online community, they're not just, posting on Amazon or selling something. They're really trying to enhance that and add real life. We talk about the AI versus human, and that's going to lead to a faster conversion cycle. Fewer touch points are needed because people are going to understand the brand instantly. They're going to understand the message, and then they're going to just want to buy.
Or, I mean, also between users and friends, like you have a higher chance of sharing these brands and messages to your friends. So that's already exposure and actual reach that you're gaining.
Exactly. And tiny pockets of the internet have more influence than campaigns when done right. And we have some clients now who have asked us, I had one yesterday on a call, be like, well, how do I get more followers? And I always try to shift that to, it's not more followers, it's how do I reach more of my audience? And it doesn't necessarily have to be 1 million followers. It can be, 10,000 followers and you're the busiest real estate agent I've ever seen, or you're the busiest chiropractor we've ever known. It's not about that number. It's about building that community and then finding the business there, finding the right audience. I really try to get a lot of our clients away from a vanity metric of all the followers. And it's finding the right people, the right audience, building your book of business. And you might tell me, oh my gosh, I'm so busy, I can't even handle it.
Yeah. I mean,
that's what I would hope.
Think about it like a local niche boutique gym. It's local to Chicago. Like, I have no reason being in South Florida following that gym, but that brand will have more followers. But when am I ever going to engage or even visit? When are they ever going to get a lead from me? Very unlikely. So it's like I just said, having the right 1,000 versus 1 million.
Exactly. And when your content's built for everyone, it really resonates with no one. So really narrowing that focus on who you want to be your audience and finding those right people, it matters. And the tighter the lens, the sharper the impact.
Yeah, small audience gives sharper data as to what they like, what they want to buy, and where do they see it going next.
Yeah, it feels more precise and less wasteful.
And effort has measurable purpose.
Yeah, it's not niching down to limit your content. It's more to focus the strategy. So we're going to shift to how do you actually build something powerful in a small space? I think a lot of people can sometimes feel down of, well, I'm not Amazon, or I'm not at Target, or I'm not in a big box store, but I have a small company. And I think it's starting with one problem, one audience, one point of view, and solving that. I think in 2026, we're going to see more of these brands getting more like depth and more focused with their messaging, and maybe less offerings to do that and not be so all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, that just leads back to what we said of like less AI, more UGC, more storytelling, and just creating overall emotion, because those can have the highest conversion rates rather than just generic throw a stick on the wall.
Exactly. And almost when you think about it, almost every company has a competitor. Almost every product is out there if you search or look it up. So it's what's going to make yours stand out. It could be the unique packaging. Like I just ordered bedding recently, and I knew the bedding quality from the store was high quality. Like they're known for being incredible. And I got it on Black Friday sale, so I was all excited. But then when it arrived, they made it so pretty, the packaging, very Instagrammable, and they made the whole experience great. I even had a representative from their store call me and email me to ask if I needed help, setting up the bed, any recommendations for more products. Like they went the extra level. Whereas I could have ordered bedding online and I could have just done it and talked to nobody. But the fact that they went that personalized route and how can they help me get better settled in my home, it matters. So I think having that connection, that community, and focusing in on for them, it's their strategy of bedding. They're not trying to do all the things either for a home, just bedding, and it's working.
Yeah. And that people want experience, and that's what you got.
Yes. And that leads to, we talked about in many episodes, I think I'm losing track on how many episodes, we talked about content pillars. And this goes back to that as well, because when you know your niche, you know your brand, it's easy to figure out your content pillars. And then it's easy from there to create content for those pillars. You don't get so lost.
Each pillar should connect to a core problem, a transformation that your consumer wants, a belief system you enforce, or community culture or shared identity.
Exactly. And I think that, like you mentioned, yoga is a great example of a lot of yoga studios who, yeah, they have classes, but or they might have great schedules or, aesthetic studio, but it's going back to the belief system of reinforcing unwind or that health and wellness piece to it.
Or
it's going the
community with our studio.
Yes. It's getting that into those pillars. But when you have those pillars there and then you know what you are, it's easy to connect them, easy to create content and not to miss the big picture.
Yeah. And knowing as your brand what you can offer is the best and first step that you need to take.
And we talk a lot too about analytics and analytics reports and data. And it's important to use that data to double down on what your niche cares about. If your niche could care less about, what is going on behind the scenes or how the product is made, but they care more about the team or they care more about the community, then do more of that. Really try to give in to the content that makes sense and don't get so bogged down of, this is what we are and this is only what our content should be. You kind of have a wider lens in that sense.
Now is the time to think about what posts spark conversations, which topics got follow-up questions, which videos people rewatched, or even, with our analytics, you could see, did they watch the whole video, the first 30 seconds, first minute?
Yeah.
Just think about the duration and type of content that you're producing and creating.
Exactly. On a recent episode I had with Dr. Jessica on, we were talking about what content resonated most. And she said it's more of the personal content and her getting over grief. And that's not necessarily all of her content, but because that's what people are reacting to and relating to, she's like, I can use that in my social media and it gets people aware of her clinic and her acupuncture and other holistic medicine.
Just also getting to know her, as her being someone's doctor, they want to have that connection.
Exactly. So the fact that she's using that data, it's opening up to a wider audience. And, scaling is not done by adding more. I think we have a lot of clients who tell us, we need more posts, right? Or are we doing enough? Let's just add more.
What can we do to boost engagement?
Yes. And I always say, it's not adding more. It's by amplifying what's already working. We have this conversation a lot. And we're not, if we were some money-hungry social media agency, we would say,
we just want to upsell you.
Post. Yeah. We'll do all posts every day if you want. We'll do a post 2 days, 2 times a day.
X amount more.
Right. And it's just not, you're not going to get the results.
Not best practice. It's going to get for either.
Everyone's going to get burnt out. Yes. Your audience is going to get tired of seeing your content. So it's more about amplifying what's already working, looking at that data and seeing okay, people love talking head videos or people love carousels explaining your product. Let's try to incorporate more of those in different ways. Or how can we repeat that every month, maybe featuring a different person or featuring a different product to really amplify what is working.
And also to note on that is how can you maintain it? So way back when we made a podcast episode on batching content.
Yes.
So yes, you have 20 videos in the pipeline, but you shouldn't post all 20 in the same month. You can
spread it out. Exactly.
So that it's you are always producing and maintaining with the cadence of the videos that are performing so well. And maybe you post more videos than posts, but you still always have it in the pipeline, so you don't.
And at a timeline you can handle, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to film every week. Don't run through those videos so fast. Spread them out. Exactly. And we talked about analytics, and a big thing is to look at the saves, shares, the retention, the watch time. That's going to signal value. We don't want vanity metrics to likes. That. Saying oh, well, this post had 200 likes and this one had 10 likes. Okay, but who was saving it? Who was sharing it? Why did they like it? Sometimes, I had a client not too long ago, they had a post that had a lot of likes, but it's because some family members of people were in it and they were like, wow, you look great, Sherry, or whatever, but it wasn't a highly shared post. There was another post that was what you need to know before coming to this event, highly shared. Let's repeat that every year.
But who's really liking it?
Exactly. They're more just saving it, sharing it. So when I go, I know how much parking is. Or when I go, I know I can't bring a bag bigger than this size. That was important.
And now they know for future events to push those rather than down reminder.
Exactly.
Or just a salesy buy your tickets now.
Exactly. And we want to encourage conversation and content, not just consumption. A lot of micro brands are winning by interacting more, but not posting more. I think Base, when they first started, they were good at this. I think they got kind of big right now. So they're a little, I won't say lost in the sauce, but I think they're navigating to come from that difference of micro brand to big brand, but where can they still see success? But when they really only had the weekender bags and a smaller subset of products, Shay Mitchell, the owner, was commenting a lot, was sharing a lot, was engaging a lot. So people felt really part of that conversation. So I think not losing that, still interact, still give. And we always say this, make social media social.
Or let's keep it social.
Right. What a concept.
One of those ways you can do that, if you're not able to do that, is to still build mini touch points.
Yes.
So newsletters. I love to see a brand with a close friends list.
Yes, that's fun.
It makes me laugh, and it's just so fun. Micro events, niche collaborations, just anything that really adds life to the brand.
Yes, and it's community over content every time. I mean, I think we even have some of our local clients starting to do some of their client appreciation events and getting some of their people, to meet each other or to meet in person. And that's going to go tenfold than a professional photo shoot.
Yes.
So if 2025 was the year of volume, 2026 is definitely going to be the year of precision. We're talking cost-effective growth, faster trust building, and easier positioning in a crowded market.
You can't outscale the big brands, but you can't outconnect them.
I love that. It's so true.
Niche creators and micro brands consistently outperform larger accounts in engagement and conversion.
They really do. And I think this year we're going to have a lot of those kind of conversations on the podcast. And it'll be interesting to see how these conversations do change and evolve as the trends go.
What we're going to see,
exactly,
how brands will adapt to these trends.
Yeah. So I'm really excited for 2026 and excited for Goat Social Media. And you heard it here. And I think we have some exciting clients and podcast guests on the pipeline.
Clients go.
Yes.
And how they can take these.
So if this episode gave you clarity, share it to your stories, tag at You Heard Your Podcast. You know the drill. And let us know your thoughts.